welcome back to Stephanie Plans and Reads. Today we're going to lean more toward the read side of Stephanie Plans and Reads, and I'm going to be talking about my January reads and also going through my reading journal. I'm going to start with going through my reads, and then I'll turn the camera around and go through my reading journal after that. That is Zeus. He's my cat, and he lives here and he goes wherever he wants. I want to talk to you a little bit about how I read first, so that you can kind of get a sense of where these numbers and stuff are coming from. So I read a lot of books at the same time. So I like to read a couple of different genres, mainly romance, so contemporary romance, historical romance, romantic suspense. I also read British detective fiction and nonfiction books. That's primarily it, but I often will read, or occasionally will read, outside of my genre, the preferred genre. So I have read spy fiction, I have read a little bit of science fiction, although it's not my favorite. And I have this, if you've seen my video when I set up my reading journal, I have changed the goals for my reading, and this year I have kind of like a bingo spread, and one of the goals in that spread is to read outside my genre, so sometimes do that. I tend to read about 100 books a year. Sometimes that's more, sometimes that's less, depending on what I'm doing in my life. And I don't listen to audiobooks. I always read them rather than listen to them. And there's no reason beyond the fact that I prefer to read. I don't have an opinion about whether or not it's bad to do audiobooks or not. I think that's fine. You read how you like to read. I'll read how I like to read, and I just prefer books. I do have an e-reader, and sometimes I read on there, and then sometimes I read the hard copy books. I don't buy them generally. I get them from the library, or their ebook versions, either from Libby, Hoopla. There's a variety of different options out there. So in the month of January, I read 9 books, and I've got my book journal here so that I can look down and see what I read and what ratings I gave it. I do log this stuff on Goodreads, so if you're interested in what I read on Goodreads, you can give me a follow there. It's Stephanie Plans and Reads, just like here, and I'll get into it. So the first book that I read, and I'm gonna kind of look down sometimes. The first book that I read was a nonfiction book called Complicit by Ria Bravo, and I gave the book 4 stars. Spoiler, maybe. And it is a book about a couple of different things around the Me Too movement. So Ria Bravo was one of the women who accused Charlie Rose of sexual harassment around the Me Too time. And she talks a little bit about her experience in doing that, and about others who had done that, and Charlie Rose and all of that, so her personal experience. But she also talks, and this is kind of the crux of the book, about how women, and specifically she's talking about white middle-class women, are complicit, hence the title, in creating and sustaining a white supremacist patriarchal environment. And that kind of environment both creates and sustains the kind of men that would sexually harass and other sexually violent behaviors toward women. Part of the reason why she explicitly centers out white middle-class women is because they benefit the most from patriarchy, other than white men. So basically it was kind of asking white women to have the conversation with themselves about how they participate and really sanction a lot of the times this kind of society that really keeps creating these types of men. And obviously she leaves out women, minority women, who aren't benefited as much by patriarchy as women. And this is white women. And this is, of course, borne fruit in the recent presidential election, where we could see that 98% of Black women had voted for Kamala, and white women had, I think just over half of them had voted for Donald Trump. So yeah, the book was really interesting. I think it opens up this kind of conversation I think that white women especially have to have with themselves and ourselves. And it's always good to examine your part in the creation of a society that you either like or that you don't like, and how you can change your behaviors to help facilitate the kind of life that you want. And I think this book is a good part of the conversation. I wish it would have had more about how patriarchy is unequally beneficial to different kinds of women, and that might have been outside the scope of the book, but I did give it 4 stars. I thought it was really interesting, and I would recommend it if you're interested in gender issues and the Me Too movement and what it was like for some of the women who participated. Okay, so the second book that I read was called Death by Dumpling, and this is the beginning of a cozy mystery series. I'm not really a cozy mystery fan. I tend to find them a little bit too twee, I think. They're just not as complex as sometimes I would prefer my fiction. But in my role at the library, I was examining different genres and trying to come up with a reading list for different genres. And one of the categories was cozy mystery. And I am always trying to look beyond the the tried and true, and try to come up with something that maybe wouldn't have been necessarily tried. And often that is minority cultures, minority voices, own voices, literature, that kind of stuff. So I found this one called The Noodle Shop Mysteries, and it was written by an Asian author, Vivian Chen. So I thought I'd give it a go, and I'd try it myself first before I would recommend it to others. And I'm really glad I did. I gave the first book 4 stars. It was really fast-paced. It was about a small village, a small Asian village in Ohio, I think. And this noodle restaurant is in that village. And one of the heads of the village association, he is murdered. And there is the thought that maybe it had come from this restaurant, because he was poisoned. And so then it was basically this, young girl. She is working at the restaurant, and she starts to investigate. And like most, cozy mysteries, any kind of coziness, there's always this kind of underlying romantic relationship. And of course, she starts a kind of will they or won't they with the detective who investigates the crime. Of course, in a cozy mystery, it's usually the non-professional who ends up solving the crime, and of course she does. But I thought that this was a little bit more complex than the other traditional cozy mysteries that I had read, and I believed in the characters and the authenticity. Sometimes with cozy mysteries, you think there's no way that this person is going to investigate this the way that they are portraying. But I believed her. I believed the way that she went about going to investigate this. So I gave it a 4. I'm going to continue reading the series. I have another one coming up of the series to talk about, but I enjoyed it. The third pick was also, or the third thing I read was also a romantic suspense. I'm really on a romantic suspense kick. I think that I found contemporary romance to be a little wanting. It's just not giving it for me. So I like something else. So I'm doing romantic suspense. This is a part of a series. It's called Body of Evidence, and it's part of a series. It's by Rachel Grant, and I gave this book 4 stars. This mainly follows different anthropologists and archaeologists. Did I say anthropologists? Archaeologists. And what they find or uncover generally has something to do with the government. They're working as part of like working alongside different government organizations in different parts of the world. So it's got a little bit of a spy kind of intrigue thing there. The characters in this particular, so this is I think the third book in the series, and I'm not sure I loved the first book, but I wanted to continue with the series. These characters were much more interesting, fleshed out than the first couple. I thought the ending was a little bit, sometimes they're a little bit too wrapped up in a bow, everything's fine. I thought that it was kind of convenient the way that they ended, but I did like the series and I gave it, or the book, and I gave it 4 stars. Then continuing along with the series, I read Picture You Dead, which is the next book in the Peter James series. There's I believe that there is a television show about this series as well. Detective D.I. Grace, DCI Grace. Anyway, this is the, I don't know, like it's pretty far on in the series, maybe 18th or 19th book. And I give this one a 4 star as well. It's fast paced, it's plot driven, so less about characters and their feelings, more about the actions and things that happen. And it's kind of good that it's that way, because I'm kind of getting bored with the main character's relationship with his wife, and that kind of seems to take it takes a back seat at times, but it also comes to the fore, and it's a little bit boring, and she's a little bit boring. It was about the forgery of this very expensive and valuable painting, and some people find it in a garage sale, and they take it to Antiques Roadshow and basically find out it's worth millions. At least they think it is, and then different people try and it's kind of a complicated story, but there's different forgeries going on, and different people are getting murdered because of the amount of money it is. At the end, I wanted the people who had originally bought the painting, who thought it was fake and they were buying it for the frame. I really wanted them to end up with the money, but anyway, the story is really good. Like I said, it's fast paced, plot driven. It's good for people who just want to kind of get into a really interesting story. Then I read Cheater by Karen Rose, again, part of a series. I'm very much a series reader. I like to read the whole thing. Cheater is a romantic suspense. Karen Rose writes romantic suspenses, and she has, like, you don't have to read all like 30 of her books in order, but she does have pockets of she writes about the police in different parts of the United States, and so you want to read those parts in order. And this one, she's in San Diego, and this is the second book in San Diego. It is romantic suspense, but it's much more heavy. This version is much more heavily on the suspense bit. There's not very much romance. The couple is very, very, very slow burn. Usually in her books, the couple gets together in the book, and this doesn't seem to be the case. I think we're on the second book now, and they're just, kissing. So some of the things I thought were a bit cliche, but I always love Karen Rose. She's one of my favorite romantic suspense authors, and so I gave it a 4. Then I read the next book in the Noodle Shop series, which is Dim Sum of All Fears. And I gave this a 4. I didn't think it was good as the first one. The main character, Lana, she's a great character and her friend's great. The characters that she's built in the Asian village are really interesting and you want to find out about them and stuff. I just thought the mystery in this one wasn't that interesting, and it was a little bit more convoluted than it needed to be. Then I read my first contemporary romance of the month. I read The Pumpkin Spice Cafe by Laurie Gilmore. This was a popular book a little while ago, but I read it on Hoopla, and it was very short, very easy read. I would say that it's more plot driven than character driven, but it's neither, because the character's not really that interesting. I would say that they're a little bit fleshed out because you do get backstories about them and why they act the way they do, but we're not even that, it's just not very interesting. So the main female character goes back to this small town to run her aunt's cafe. Her aunt's off on vacation. I think she's planning on retiring. The boy is a farmer, and his parents have died when he was young, and the town has kind of embraced him as one of their own, and so they're always messing around in his life. And they also witnessed him propose to his former girlfriend, who said no. So he's a bit grumpy, she's a bit sunshine, and they get together through, a meet cute where she is worried that somebody's trying to break in, and it's him delivering some, I don't know, pumpkins or gourds or something. And then basically the rest of the book is just them trying to get together. She's a little bit wary because people have been warning her off him, saying, we don't want him to be hurt, and he doesn't want to be hurt. So basically that's all that is. I didn't enjoy it that much. I gave it 3 stars. Normally 3 stars is if I thought it was okay, but I didn't really love it. I'm not going to continue on, I don't think, with the series, although I think there are some more interesting people and some more interesting potential couples in that series. But yeah, it just didn't do it for me. And then I read my last romantic suspense for the month. I read Sandra Brown's Overkill. I am trying to read Sandra Brown's backlist, although I'm not going to get through all of it, and I probably won't go past 1995. But Overkill was a good one. It was about a woman who likes to party. She likes to take drugs and have sex with men, and in doing so, one of these guys takes it too far and ends up strangling her so much that she is brain dead. Well, she has not changed the power of attorney that she had with her ex-husband, who is was an American football player, quarterback, and so he has the power to turn off her life support or keep it on. He knows that the woman wouldn't want her to be alive by a machine, but the father is really hoping that the quarterback will keep her on life support, and the quarterback wants really nothing to do with it, so he kind of leaves it. So in a little while, the guy who attempted to murder this woman gets out on bail, or on parole, sorry, and the lawyer wants to put him back in jail. But you can't do that because of double jeopardy. He can't be tried for the same crime twice. However, if the quarterback pulls the plug on his ex-wife, then they can be tried for murder. And so the lawyer goes to see him, and he doesn't want anything to do with it, but sparks fly. That's the relationship there. And the person who actually committed the crime finds out that this lawyer is trying to get him back in jail, and so she, or the killer, potential murderer, goes about and kills other people, and tries to get them, and they have to hide and all of that stuff. So that's where the romance comes. Very good story, really interesting, lots of much more complex, and the murderer has a group of friends. They're not really friends, they're co-conspirators that have changed their ways since he's gone to jail. And one of them is really interesting, and I kind of wish he gets a book, he gets because he ends up doing some stuff at the end. It's really, it's good. I won't spoil it for you in case you want to read it, but yeah, Overkill by Sandra Roberts, recommend. I give it 4 stars. And then the last book that I read was called The Knowing by Tanya Talaga. I give this book 4 stars. It is about one of the big blemishes on Canadian history, the residential schools for Natives. Not too long ago, and not too distant of a history, Canada would take Native children off of reservations and off of living the land with their families, and make them go to a school, again, quote unquote, that would teach them kind of ways of the white man. And in doing so, they experienced extreme abuse, physical, mental, sexual, were often starving, and often so far away from their families that they could never see them, or were encouraged not to see them. And often these children died at these schools and were buried without markers, without their parents being notified, without their parents even knowing that they were ill. And oftentimes the parents didn't even know where they had been taken. And these graves were found, some of these graves were found several years ago, and they continue to be found all across Canada. And this book is both the social history of that and also personal history. This woman is Native, and she talks about her experience, her family's experience with residential schools and trying to find their lost relatives, and is very good, is very, again, just like Complicit, a very important conversation to have as a Canadian, to acknowledge and I guess have conversations about the way in which we have treated the Native population, and how our history of Canada is also is really just one small part of the history of Turtle Island, which is what the Native population called this land. So I think it's very good. She's a journalist, so she writes really accessibly for not just people who are interested in like the facts, but also kind of a story about it, a kind of prose, and really well done. And I think she pitches it correctly. She pitches it to as many, for as many people as possible. It's really good. So that was also 4 stars. So my lowest, and it was like a 4.5, but I only give, full, no half marks. So 9 books, most of them 4 stars, 1 3 stars. Generally don't get 2 or 1s because I try not to read books that I know I would probably give that low of a star to. But yeah, I felt good about the reading month, and I'm looking forward to continuing some of these series into February and having some more reviews for you next month. So now I think we'll turn the camera around and I'll take you through my reading journal for the month. And yeah, see you in a second. Okay, so here's my book journal for this year. And I will flip to the book bingo. So I was talking about this earlier. So what I've done is put in a whole bunch of like little, I guess, milestones or goals. And I'm just using a Tombow marker when I get to the goal. I just want to make sure, oh no, this is the wrong one. Maybe I don't have this one with me, but there are a few of these that I can check off. So I did start a new series. And I have read, written 5 reviews, and that might be it. So this is the book bingo that I was talking about. And then for the first quarter, you can see here, I have my January reading. This is a sticker by Planner Monkey Co. And then I've just listed the books that I've just talked about right there, the genre and their star rating. And then you can kind of get a sneak peek of February there. So the weeks pretty much look the same every week. So on this side, I put the goal that I have for the reading of the week, and then some notes about how it's going or what I've read and things like that. This deco is from Washi Tape Shop and Coffee Monsters Co. And this washi tape is from Amazon. And then on this side, I put in blue ink, I put what I'm reading and the pages, and then any kind of notes I'm making about the thing that I read, or if I finished it and what star rating I gave it. So that's week 1. I really like this. I think it's Cats and Books, something like that. Pet tape from the washi shop. I really like it. It's cute. Then this week is some MT washi, Happy Planner stickers. I'm trying to use up old, not necessarily old, but stickers that I'm not using very much anymore. I'm trying to kind of use them up. So I've got some book from the book, I think it was bookish reading. Again, some kind of a light reading this week. My goal was to finish 2 books and I only finished 1. As you can see, it says finished. Yeah, not my favorite spread. Then this, I've used Coffee Monsters Co., Planner Monkey Co. I've got some Sterling ink stickers, I think this is Amazon washi. And I don't know where these little, I can't remember where these little, it might be Color Cafe, these little men, I'm not sure. Some notes here, goals, 2 books this week, and I only read 1, or finished 1. I read many at the same time, as I have already stated. This week was a pretty good week. Planner Monkey Co. washi tapes. This is London Gifties washi tape. And then again, pet tape, and then washi tape from Pet Tape from Washi Tape Shop. That's gonna, again, a good review of what I was reading this week, and some notes here on the side. I've made some notes about Done and Dusted, which I should probably be finished for February. I'm not that much of a fan. I think it's because, and I've talked about this just earlier, I think I'm out of my contemporary romance period. I just don't feel that interested in it. And then this is Sterling ink, Planner Monkey Co., MT washi, and some more Sterling ink for the last week of the month. And just kind of what I thought about my reading for the week. And that's it. Then in the back, you can see here, this is where I'll write my reviews. I have written a review for everything that I read in January. I have not done my February's yet, which is okay. And then at the back, the very back, I've done a series tracker, and I'm just writing down the series that I'm currently reading and that I'm in the middle of. I've got a few more to put in. I'm gonna, continue them on this page and on this page. This is just Planner Monkey Co. washi and Planner Monkey Co. sticker. And yeah, I'll continue on those 2 pages with just like current series I'm reading. I probably won't put down anything that, I'm not currently reading, but I'm not through finishing the series. I'll probably wait to write that down. So that's my reading journal for this month and the books that I read for January. Let me know if you enjoyed this video, if you want to see more of this type of content. If you're new here because you got dragged in here by the bookish booktube community, welcome, and I hope you enjoy this content and you'd like to see more from me as well. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.